Well, okay.
Coming back and doing one.
Coming around the mountain.
If you wonder why I wasn't clapping, you'd be glad I wasn't. I can never keep on tune, on time. The rhythm's just no rhythm. That's it, you know. And I get so excited I want to clap along, and then I realize our dear friend Reverend Ronnie, we cut a CD for him, and please, I want to give you one of those CDs before you leave Linden. And we're all standing there, and he said, now just clap. And I'm here doing my clap, and all of a sudden these tall man with these long arms just reached around me and grabbed my hands and just held them together. And he said to me, Dottie, after watching you, I don't know how you white folks ever get procreated. You don't have any rhythm, baby. And that was one of those things I decided I better watch out.
Watch out.
That was so wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you for all that. I don't know about other people, but for me, this has been the week that was, and I needed something to bring me up and make me cheer and make me feel good. That certainly is a good feeling song. Thank you so very much. I'm going to be talking about the mistakes we make. And I want to start out with one that I made that will haunt me forever. Have you ever had a mistake that just never goes away?
Yeah.
And mine was one Easter when I had the church over in the mansion. And I decided that we were going to do a thing that wasn't quite communion, but I was going to bless the bread, and I was going to bless the grape juice. And it was just my saying, we're here, many of us were raised Christian, some of us were raised different religions, but whatever, this is a blessing of the Creator, the Mother, Father, God. And I was so into my being so serious and so religious and so faithful and stalwart, you know? And I picked up and I said, and we will now breast the blood. Have you ever done something where you can't get out of it? I tried to bless everything and it came out breast every time. And Annie reminds me of this about every Easter. And now Dottie is going to breast something. I know, but doesn't that keep you grounded when you do something like that? You know, have you ever you've done that? Have you felt like, this is the perfect day, I've got this outfit, I look good, and then somebody tells you that your slip's showing, or, it's like that.
Toilet paper in your shoes.
Toilet paper on your shoes, yeah.
And
There's so many things that happen by mistake that really are the best things that could have happened to us. Spiritualists make mistakes. Spiritual people make mistakes. Everybody on this planet makes a mistake now and then. But I found quite often, just like the one I mentioned, it's the way the Creator works through me. It's the way the Creator says, why don't you not take yourself so seriously? Or what do you think you're doing? And you kind of stop, and I want you for the rest of the day, if something happens where you've made a mistake, laugh at it and say, thank you, God. Thank you, Mother. Because this is a way for you to be doing life a lot easier. I don't know how many times something has happened, like not having the keys to the car with me when I get to the car, and I have to stop and think, where did I put the keys? And realize that the sun is shining, the birds are chirping, and it's a gorgeous day. If I just walked and opened the car and gotten in, I never would have noticed. I never realized that the Creator was saying, Dottie, look at the beautiful day that is just here for you to take. And so as you start looking at those, what I call oops in life, and just say thank you, because you know that we are all on a path. But paths are like any path. So many times you think you're on the right road. Sometimes you even worry that maybe you're not on the right freeway, or that maybe you're going in the wrong direction. And then something mysteriously magical happens. You see somebody. You stop to get directions and realize a guy in the gas station is somebody you went to high school with. I mean, it's like you think it's the end of the world, and God sees this as a teaching moment. And so then afterwards you go, now how did that happen again? And I got in touch with Joey. Oh, I remember. I thought I was lost. And nowadays it's getting more and more difficult, we think, to feel that we're lost because we have GPS and we have all these wonderful beings help us. But I found they don't always tell me the truth. And I have a Siri with an attitude. Oh, she has an attitude. She does things. Oh no, it's not even recalculating. She'll say, "What did you think you're doing?" I mean, I don't know who programmed it. My specific one. I'm going to tell you one thing that happened that I'll never forget. Corky and I were going up to see our friend Donna up in Verdi, and we're driving along, and she said, "I'm going to get a Starbucks. What kind would you like?" And I said, "Surprise me." She said, "Okay." She got out of the car. I sat there and waited. She gets in the car, and just as she opens the door, Siri says, "Surprise!" I was. There's got to be a mistake in her wiring somewhere. It's not supposed to be surprising me, but it made the whole trip so much lighter and so much easier. We wanted to find out what she was going to say next. And so there again, what I thought of at the time was, oh, that's kind of silly, kind of a mistake. It really helped.
Yeah, and then if anybody has, it's the divide 0 by 0.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And that's a real fun one because it says.
Yeah, if you have on your cell phone, just ask what's 0 divided by 0. Do it after service.
Wait till you hear
And it's really, there's a lot of those that are really fun. And so it was, but I realize that just some of the greatest events in my life have come out what we call serendipitously, because they just happen. They just emerge. And it's the same as, how many of you have ever fallen down and you think this is the worst thing that's ever happened to me? I just slipped and fell, and people are looking at me.
Well, you're looking at me. I just did it a couple
I know. Yeah. Well, that's why I'm looking at you. Yeah. And what is your first thing you do? You want to jump up immediately and say, "I'm okay."
Yeah.
I swear, your legs could be broken in 5 places, and you're going to jump up down and say, "I'm okay." And I found now. Yeah, I don't know if you realize it, but just next month I'm going to be 81. Isn't that great? Woo! And all these wonderful years of making mistakes, I found that if I slip and fall, if I just stay there for a minute, I get more help. Everybody says, "Fat lady down." And they rush. What's going on? Are you okay? What's going on? And I just go, wow. This is a pretty good attention to device. I'm not going to do it very often. But before I was doing so much danger to my body by just jumping up. And now I just go, let's relax. Does this work that way, Dr. Eileen? If you just relax, does it work that way? Oh, good, because
Take pause.
Take pause and just, we have 2 chiropractors in the room today, so I can inspiration. Yeah, always here for inspiration. Okay. So, going back to driving down that road, driving down that path, wherever you're going, so many of you have made what you thought was mistakes because you didn't take that graduate school exam when you should have. You didn't do something in your life. You didn't go to college. Some of you say, "Oh, I wish I didn't have 16 kids." There's things that you go, there's some mistakes I've made. I'm not too sure about that, I mean, and they're worse than that. They're really worse than that. I've got a bad haircut. Now, I found bad haircuts grow. But there's some things in life that you look back on and go, wow, that was a mistake. And then you find that there's so many blessings that you have received by mistakes. I bet many of you, when you were in high school, found the love of your life when you were 16 or 17, and you were going to be in love with that person for the rest of your life. And you know, 18 months to 3 years later, he said, that was a mistake, that's a jerk. You know? And you're so glad that that's not the one. Some of you, go ahead and marry him anyway. And then later say, ooh, that was a mistake. You know, doing psychic readings, I have people that come to see me, and I'll say, no, this gentleman's not the one for you. And they said, oh, I really think he is. Okay, be my guest, you know. 3 years later, you know, there's a knock, knock, knock on my door, excuse me, and I stand there looking at somebody who's been beaten up by the man that she is the love of her life, and says, I don't know what to do.
Me.
And I don't say to them, well, you stupid idiot, you shouldn't have married the guy. You know?
I'm sure she's telling herself that.
Yeah, number one, as a minister, we really don't advocate that. So what I do, and I say, come on in, and I hold them, and I say, you're a child of God. You're wonderful. This is a learning lesson. This is a lesson, and honor this lesson. Don't make it all wrong, and we'll see what we can do to help you. And what happens is that learning, they find himself. Many people, and this is not just women going through this, men do too. They go through a time in life where they think they're useless, they think they're no good, and people aren't treating them well. And then something happens, and it goes click. I'm not that. I'm not the mistake they are. I'm going to live my life the best I can. And I don't care what they say, I don't know how they act towards me, but that's not me, that's them. And we all have this kind of mistake in some of our friends. Have you ever, I have one friend who I've thought for a long time, I wonder why I keep her my friend. Do any of you have one of those? This woman has never called me. She never sends me notes. She doesn't email me. And she's now 82, and I've known her since I was 13. And I'm the one that carries on the communication. And I got a call from her, and she was in the hospital. And I said, well, hi, how are you doing? She said, I've been telling everybody here about my best friend.
Well, not only that, but you had to find her.
Yeah.
You had to find out which hospital she was in.
Yeah, because I didn't know where she was.
Well, you were going, you know, I haven't heard from her in a while. I feel like
that
she's...
something's going on, yeah. And I've been writing some memoirs, and part of it was about her in my life. And I sent it to her, and she emailed me. She said, do you have more of my book? She never thought she was worth it for somebody to write about. And so people would say, why do you keep up this relationship with Barbara? Why don't you just let her go? That would have been the worst thing for her. She had somebody she knew she could get a hold of. So sometimes you might think, oh, I think I'll just let go of her. No. What most people need is love and attention. And you can do that. You can just put that together. Making mistakes in life is so much better than doing nothing. Have you ever talked to somebody and asked them, what are you doing? Nothing. What are you going to do? Nothing. What have you been doing? Nothing.
What? Who's that?
And you say,
No.
well, do you have any ideas about what you want to do? And they say, no, because I'm afraid of going outside. Have you ever met anybody who has agoraphobia? Yeah. And that because they're afraid that they might do something wrong or somebody might hurt them. And those are the people that you need to say, why don't we go to the park? Let's just go and do something. Ask them to go with you to do something. If I haven't asked you, some of you in here to go with me somewhere, say, Dottie, what are you doing? And I'll say, hey, you want to go? Because I think everybody each day should start out with a list of things they're going to do and places they're going to go. And start looking at them. Because you'll find at the end of the day, as you look around, you look at all the people that you've met and all the things you've done, and you realize none of them were mistakes. Even though you might have felt uncomfortable, even though there was something about the time and the place that you didn't enjoy as much as you thought, sometime later on in life it'll pop back up. And you go, oh, that's right, that was really fun. You know, I enjoyed it. Because we know that the Mother, Father, God works in very mysterious ways. How many of you are on the path you started out when you were 17? Thank you, Glenda. Knowing that this is what I really want to do. And do you feel in your career you've ever made any mistakes?
Lot.
What?
Lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't it amazing
Part of the journey.
when you look back and you go, I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Yeah, but like you said, I really looked from a place of like, well, what are the gifts here?
Right.
And how can I not do that again?
Mhm. Yeah, and it's amazing when you look back at it and go, oh, well, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
That worked.
Yeah.
I think that's so wonderful when that happens. But, you know, quite often those paths have a spiritual interaction going on. You just don't know it. We all think we know exactly what's right for us.
Yeah.
But leave yourself open to the miracle. There's always a miracle in your life, but you have to be open to it. Or you'll be stranded without your keys. Saying, oh, this is awful. Oh, well, we do have a locksmith in the back row.
Yeah.
Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you.
Yeah, but I bet haven't you found that people are in despair when they don't have the key that they need?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so just say, you know, you didn't make a mistake, you just need to calm down today. And I think of that too, that I didn't make a mistake, I just wasn't supposed to get out on the freeway right now. And just, you know, calm it down. When I was doing this and when I was thinking about what was I going to say, I don't know how many of you come up with an idea for a sermon, and at the last minute go, what am I going to say about that? And so I thought, as you know, many of us do, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to Google it. So I Googled it, and they had 35 spiritual mistakes. And I thought, now I'll copy it. My computer went blank. But Mercury intervention, and my computer said, I'm taking a nap. I turned it back on, and I got back to the same page through all of these advertisements. Finally got it up, highlighted it, pushed print, and went blank. I'm taking a nap now. Whatever that is, it said. That was at 4 o'clock this morning, and it napped for a long time. And I finally thought, you know, maybe this is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the mistakes. Maybe I'm not going to be able to just find something on the internet and download it. Maybe I'm going to have to get up there and talk about it. And so that's what you get. This is called Dottie talking instead of Dottie reading, because that's what was going on. Yay! But now I'm going to read, because I want to talk to you.
Oh, that was the part where Dottie talked.
That was the part. She saved my blood. That woman, because she printed out little things that each one of you have, so you can read them too. But I found that there are all these wonderful inventions that came about by mistakes. And the first one I want to talk about is penicillin. Because when this very nice gentleman was working with, and I'll tell you in just a minute because I've lost my place right now, and Alexander Fleming, he left a pile of dirty petri dishes while he went on vacation, and when he arrived back home on September 3rd, 1928, he discovered most had been contaminated, as you might expect would happen in a bacteria lab in a hospital. He dumped most of the dishes in a vat of Lysol, but when he got to a dish containing Staphylococcus, something odd caught his eye. The dish was covered in colonies of bacteria except in one area where a blob of mold was growing. Around the mold was an area free of bacteria, as if the mold had blocked the bacteria from spreading. He realized it could be used to kill a wide range of bacteria, and penicillin was identified. And my mother's life was saved by penicillin, in the 1940s. And when penicillin was just becoming known in this country. And I thought, just by an accident, it saved my mother's life, and I'm here. I thought, isn't that interesting to look at what happens with accidents? Teflon was built, it was an accident, and by a person named Roy Plunkett, and he went on, he was developing something else, and whoops, Teflon. The slinky, I like this. This guy was inventing a way to keep a real specific articles so stable. So